All right, so this week they introduced something that helps you create content by going to a comment and clicking on those little dots, and it will create an AI generated script, kind of like ChatGPT does, but right inside of YouTube. And so I went to a comment and it created this video. And what it shocked me the most is that with my audience, the popularity of this video, look how high popular topic with your viewers. So what's going on out there? Why would it recommend I make a video that clearly would get the video demonetized because you're not allowed to use certain words? This word you're not allowed to use on this platform. Use this word anywhere or make any reference to this and it will flag the video and it will tell you that you can't make that video. And yet, here it is. So, without further ado, let's get into the more YouTube friendly version of what I need to talk about. Because obviously, if AI thinks that my audience is really feeling that way, then who are you people and how do I reach that many people that come to this platform for their daily dose of positivity and optimism? All right, let's get into today's video. Every day feels the same, like I'm living inside a loop with no exit. Wake up, work, scroll until my brain melts, then collapse into bed just to do it all again. They told us we were the future of tech, but no one mentioned we'd still be poor, burnt out, and sleeping next to a charging cable instead of a dream. Scrolling has replaced real rest, and work has replaced identity. We're not living, we're just functioning. And the worst part is we've been taught to see this as normal. That's pretty much everything I say on a daily basis in one paragraph. But looking through the talking points that that YouTube created, I'm kind of mortified by some of the things that it wanted me to outline in here. Like, it wanted me to say this: is the grass truly greener on the other side? We're going to explore the controversial question of whether being murked is actually preferable to life, exploring the reasons why some people might think that way. Well, let me give you a simple reason. Because earning the McPaycheck isn't going to get you anywhere. Working at McDonald's isn't going to be the highlight of your career. And if every single job in America is now just working at McDonald's, then what hope do you have? It's understandable that people are starting to believe that the entire point of being alive is monthly bills. Life itself is a subscription service because everything you need about life requires you to sell your labor. Your free time, don't even think about it. Because you know what your free time is? It's the time you're supposed to be finding another job, another source of income. I just went to the furniture store and I bought that piece of furniture you guys saw me make a video about. And no, I was kidding about using Mellow as a furniture mover. I actually managed to move it all the way into my house by myself, but it's over 110 degrees, and I wouldn't expect anyone to be out there other than the idiot who bought a couch in 110-degree heat. Or I don't actually know what this thing is. I went to the furniture store, and the gray color matches my couch, so I thought it looked neat in my living room. But it's like a clamshell, and inside it has like space to put things in. I've never had one of these things, and I'm not sure why exactly it appealed to me. Probably because it was one of the cheapest things in the store. That's probably the reason why I bought it. The lamp was also very inexpensive as well. It's like 20 bucks. But, all right, let's get into talking point number one. Despite working harder than ever, many young adults feel like they're stuck financially, emotionally, and socially. Jobs pay too little, prices rise nonstop, and success always seems one burnout away. This talking point explores how the appearance of control and mobility is often just a treadmill, disguised as a staircase. So I'm going to put this in here just because I've been wanting to say this out loud, and I may have put it into another video, but I've forgotten because I drink too much. So yesterday I was reading through the comments and someone said this. They said the workers, he was working with a homeless, and the director of his department was conducting a meeting, and the director looked at all of his workers and said, everyone in this room is one paycheck away from joining the people that you're trying to help. That is a very powerful statement about the condition of the work world right now in this country. And it's not going to get any better because it hurts. That, unfortunately, is just the way that things are going to stay. This hurts. This world hurts. And if people truly think that it's better to not exist, and I wonder what prompt, because I'm looking at the pictures from my earlier today video about Astra, and there's a hand in every single one of these pictures, like just a hand just poking out of the thumbnail. And when I create these thumbnails, I always ask ChatGPT to create me a thumbnail or the description of a thumbnail so that I can insert it into Korea and create the thumbnails because ChatGPT can no longer function like that. But imagine that if your boss told you you're one paycheck away from being where the people you're trying to help are. So in a sense, what you're doing is you're paving the way for your own homelessness. And I'll tell you guys this from my own personal experience. I have been homeless while working. It's people aren't being lazy. It's the simple fact that that paycheck doesn't stretch anymore. It doesn't go as far as you had hoped it would. And the reason for that is because corporations have gotten so greedy that living wages, they pretend not to understand what living wages look like while paying their executives, the CEO, and everyone at the top millions of dollars a year while you're forced to figure it out because you spent your $20,000 at Starbucks and avocado toast. Like, they really want people to believe that spending $5 or $10 a day is the entire reason why you failed at life. No one wants to take into consideration that your bring home pay can be $20,000 and your rent for that year can be $24,000. That's this twisted system acting the way that it does. I don't understand how people can truly treat people as slaves. We're not workers, and we haven't been workers for a long time. For decades and decades, we slave. We're not working. That's the misconception that this world has, that it has workers. No, we're living on monthly subscriptions to keep us alive. If you don't pay your light bill every month, they turn it off. If you don't pay your rent, they kick you out. If you don't pay for your car, they repossess it. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to believe that they're going to start repossessing us. The government, the corporations, which are one and the same, are going to start repoing your soul if you can't afford to pay for the monthly subscription. And that frightens the hell out of me. Because what are we supposed to do? We're the livestock of this planet that does the work is no longer what it was or what it is. I mean, if you stop and think about it, has humanity always enslaved itself in order to better the 1%? And you and I both know that the answer to that question is yes. We've always been slaves to this system. Because the second you start thinking that somehow you can stop slaving because you don't like it, well, the reality check hits you really fast when you go to buy gas and you don't have any money. Or you go buy something to eat and you can't get it. That's how quickly reality will punch you in the face. Because it's not like we want to go slave, we have to go slave. And personally, I don't think it's worth it. And I know that a lot of you think that way as well. Work isn't worth it for many people, especially for people that acknowledge small business owners, that acknowledge the fact that their workers are suffering. If you're Walmart, suffering is baked right into the equation for your low level workers. If your workers qualify for food stamps, is that still considered a job? I think there should be criteria, a very strict criteria for what qualifies as a job. Does your job pay you enough so that your rent is 20% of your income? That would be the starting point for me. If it's not, if in your area you can't work 1 week a month or less just to pay your rent, then something went wrong. Something is horribly wrong with this system if you get to the point where you're rent poor. But that's a topic for a different day. Talking point number 2. Scrolling isn't just a habit. It's self-medication. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Scrolling isn't just, oh, God, I better restart this. All right, so I kind of sometimes I hear this happen to people on YouTube all the time where they're reading through something and then they'll like instead of going up one line, they'll go back up and read the same line. And that's just what happened to me. Okay. Offer monetary relief from the crushing pressure of work and financial stress. And I just said the wrong word. I am having a really hard time with this. They offer momentary relief from the crushing pressure of work and financial stress, but they also reinforce toxic comparisons and consumer fantasies. Consumer fantasies. Do you guys have consumer fantasies? I mean, do you compare yourself with a person who has unlimited income to you working at McDonald's? I mean, that is so unrealistic. It's almost stupid. But I mean, I might do this, but I do this more like with things, like not consumable things, like per se, like on Amazon, but I do it with people's cars, the people that they're around, and with housing. Because I'm really disappointed that so few people can afford a house in today's society. I can. I know I'm gonna die in a. I don't even know what to call it. It's not even roach infested. It's just poor people housing, and that's just going to have to be the way that things go. Because when you stop and take into consideration how many slave hours you need to put together in order to get a house, it's a lot of slaving for not a whole lot of shelter, I'll tell you that much. So the idea of looking at influencers and wondering why not me is the same way that proles buy lottery tickets. I say this all the time. The only hope for the proletariat is the lottery. And unfortunately, the lottery will continue to go up for the jackpot every single time because proles get excited about the lottery like nothing else. I've never seen a person get as excited about anything else in the world. There's nothing that excites a prole more. Well, maybe pink taco, but that's it. But there is no alternative. If you take into consideration that you will walk into your job for the rest of your life, regardless of what it is, whether you're a janitor, whether you're a garbage man, whether you're all of the above, and the secretary, that sucks. But the reality of ordinary life is what made YouTube recommend a video like this so that I could cater to what you guys want to watch. And if this is truly what the algorithm thinks that you guys are feeling like, we have a big problem in our society. And a problem that has no solution. And that's the worst kind of problem to have in our society. A problem that isn't a problem for the 1%. it's a problem for the rest of us. And the 1% is very clear that they don't want us to figure it out. They like this. They like a system that caters to their every whim, a system that privatizes their gains and, oh God, I can't even remember how to say this. And, God, how do I say this? And socialize their losses. Okay, I just had a brain fart. I'm having all kinds of brain farts in the script. Socializing your losses is what we saw in 2008 with the financial crisis. The banks were too big to fail. The airlines were too big to fail. The corporations needed help. Why? Because their own freaking greed caused themselves to end up in that situation. Predatory lending is what I call the student loan program. And I've always called it this. It is predatory lending to people that have no chance, for the vast majority of them, of ever paying back those student loans. Because the interest on those student loans keeps going up and up and up. I mean, I just had one of my acquaintances, who's going to start going to medical school in August. And yesterday we were discussing how she plans on paying these things back, because in her opinion, she shouldn't have to pay them back because her job is helping people. And I told her, it's like, well, I don't understand, because we both graduated from college in the same year in 2017. And she's been out of school for that long. She's been out of school just as long as I have. And she's bounced from one call center to another to being unemployed for the last year. And God only knows what she does for money. But she makes enough of it so that she can afford to spend $1,000 on clothes online. So, yeah, that happened yesterday. Anyhow, let's move on to talking point number 3. Exhaustion has become a badge of honor. Everyone's tired, anxious, low-key depressed, and society treats it like a shared meme instead of a warning sign. This point critiques how grind culture, toxic positivity, and capitalism romanticize people's working hard. And I absolutely despise that, because the harder you work, the more money they make. The harder you work doesn't mean that you're going to directly benefit from your hard work. Showing up to a job and working like the owner means that you're simping for the corporation. Minimum wage, minimum effort. But the corporations don't want to hear that. In fact, they monitor us constantly for performance. At Amazon, I think it's the bottom 10 or 15% automatically get termed for low performance. And these are people that are showing up. And it's not just that it's cruel, but not everyone has the ability to output at that level. Let's say you're an 80-year-old man working in the warehouse, and you're expected to maintain the same performance levels as someone that's 18 years old. It's not going to happen. I mean, yesterday, while I was driving, my co-pilot in the passenger seat couldn't go more than a few hours without having to visit our friend Mary Jane. And I was like thinking to myself, how could a person who needs that so often, how is that person going to have a job? Every 2 hours on the dot, just like hate to use this word, a dope fiend, you gotta get more. And on our way back, I asked her if there's anything that she needed before we got to the house, and she said to me, "You know what I need." And I was like, "Oh God, that's a very ominous." Oh my God. Anyhow, let's read a closing monologue. This isn't what life is supposed to be. A glitchy routine where joy is postponed and survival is branded as grind. We deserve more than just Wi-Fi, deadlines, and emotional numbness. If you're tired, it's not because you're weak. It's because you're a human in a system that treats you like a machine. And what is a machine? A machine is a slave. A machine can't say no. A machine doesn't get sick, and a machine doesn't need pay increases. That's the way that we're treated. When large corporations think about their machines, they're thinking about how they can optimize them, how they can get more work out of the machine. So the harder you slave at your slave job, the more money the corporation works while simultaneously making certain that you get as little as humanly possible, just enough resources to keep you going. And that was the idea behind that video that I made the other day, the slave calculator, because that's really what it comes down to. They're trying to take away your benefits. They're trying to cut your hours. They're trying to make sure you're even more miserable than possible at work. And they know all of these things lead to only one possible outcome. It's burnout. And once you burn out, they change you out just like a light bulb. Imagine that. You've never thought about how high the turnover is at any corporation, like a light bulb or a battery. The second that light bulb, if they hit the switch and it doesn't turn on, they unscrew you, throw you out, and bring in a fresh light bulb and wait for that one to burn out too. That's why it's called burnout, because you're the light bulb and you always have been the light bulb. And if you think of your job as just being a light bulb there, you don't matter to them. You're just light bulb 00001. That's all you are. Your humanity's been stripped away from you a long time ago. In fact, I believe that humanity is stripped away from us the moment that you're born poor. Make that mistake to come into this world as a poor person, and that will be your future for the rest of your life. Want to have some pearl children? Guess what? They're going to be the future light bulbs. So don't do it, people. Don't bring children into this world if you can't afford them. Because I know my parents couldn't afford children. And I'm sure that many of your parents couldn't afford you either. And look what we got as adults. We're literally going from corporation to corporation to corporation as light bulbs. And we all know that no light bulb can stay on forever.